and we're live with Airplay.
Hi, welcome to Airplay. I'm Connie Ketfinger, and we're back at it on a Tuesday afternoon, bringing you plays on the air, Airplay. Today's co-host is my dear friend, who is also going to be reading our stage directions today, Byron C. Saunders. Byron, say hello.
Well, as narrator, I got to freeze my frame, but it's so nice to be a part of this amazing concept that you've been doing for many, many years. And I enjoy working every play that we can. And I'm the new Alistair Cook. So there it is.
There we go. There we go. Look at that outfit. And we thank you. And we thank our wonderful producer, Rachel Love. But Byron, would you be so kind as to tell us about the play, the playwright, and the players?
Yes, indeed. The play is entitled Electric Serenade by Robert Kirkendall. I'm going to introduce the playwright and the artist, and then we'll go into the play itself. Robert Kirkendall grew up in San Jose, California, and he presently lives over the hill in Santa Cruz. He was a member of the briefly seen playwriting workshop where he developed a number of scripts, and his short plays have been performed by Actors Theater of Santa Cruz and Community Television of Santa Cruz. Last February, his two-act workplace drama, Dermalogic, was performed as part of Theater of New Cities on the Air series, and Robert hopes to someday give it a fully staged production. He is currently co-writing a screenplay named 20 with director Hilary Davison for 1985 films, and has written a screenplay he plans to direct about a man trying to escape Santa Cruz called Leaving Paradise. You can read more of his work on his website at robertkirkendall.com. Now, Carrie Wesolowski is our director, and she'll be reading the role of Joanna. Born and raised in New York City, Carrie Wesolowski is a New York City-based actor, director, host, and singer who is a seasoned film, television, and theater, and now Zoom actor. Carrie is thrilled to once again be a finalist in Manhattan Rep's Stories Film Festival. Her work as director, actor in Connie Ketfinger's The Unusual Chauncey Faust can be seen in Manhattan Rep's Stories Film Festival until October 3rd, 2021. For more information, go to our website to find out how you can catch her Q&A, get a festival pass, and vote for The Unusual Chauncey Faust. It's always such a joy for Carrie co-hosting, directing, and acting in Airplay. Juan Perez playing the role of Mark. Juan studied film, theater, and acting at New York University, Brooklyn College, and Michael Howard Studios. He has performed in theatrical and cinematic productions of over a decade. Theatrically, he has performed in productions including A View from the Bridge, Wait Until Dark, and Pulp Shakespeare. In video productions, Juan parlayed his memorable performance as Bernardo in Jose's Place into the uniquely manic lead in La Casa Loca, Maverick Entertainment. And Juan currently produces videos for corporate clients and artists in Los Angeles. Juan has most recently seen in the New York production of Stillbirth. Now, me as your narrator, my name is Byron C. Saunders. I'm an arts management consultant, actor, director, producer, dramaturg, historian, radio talk personality, and civil rights advocate. By my highlights and my many credits currently include working as an independent arts management consultant, helping artists and arts organizations with grants administrations, fund development, marketing, public relations, event planning, and capacity and growth development. Now, a little bit about our production for this evening. It is Act 1, Scene 1 of Electric Serenade. It's down, despondent, and a little drunk over the seeming end of a long-term relationship. Joanna is at her lowest point while at a friend's anniversary party when in walks Mark. Immediately, she vents her frustration to him before they formally introduce themselves to each other, and he tries to lift her spirits with empathy and encouragement. They get to know each other as she expresses her hopes and dreams, and he talks about his own aspirations. They become acquainted by the end of the scene, and their budding relationship will take more twists and turns over the course of the play before unforeseen events bring Joanna to a crossroads at the play's end. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you Electric Serenade, a comedy in 2 acts by Robert Kirkendall. Act 1, Scene 1. The characters: Joanna, a woman in her early to mid-30s. Mark, a man in his early to mid-30s. The place: various locations in San Francisco, California. The time: it's contemporary. Act 1, Scene 1. The second-story backyard deck of a house in San Francisco on a Friday night. There is a keg to one side and an outdoor bar on the other. The bar is covered with empty bottles, empty beer cups, and looks like the end of a party. Joanna is by herself on the deck and talking on her cell phone.
I'm telling you, Liz, this night has been a total fiasco. Anthony never showed up. I don't know. He never called or texted or anything. No, I'm all by myself and at an anniversary party. I've been here long enough. I'm just going to go home and cry myself to sleep. This is absolutely the worst night of my life. Nothing could make it better.
The back door opens and Mark walks out onto the deck as Joanna speaks. He goes behind the bar and looks for something to drink.
Well, thanks for trying to cheer me up. But this is not over. I know he hasn't given up on us because we still love each other. No, he wouldn't. You don't know him like I do. I'll move on when it's time to move on, and not a moment sooner. I don't want to do anything I might regret later. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.
Hangs up her phone.
Some party.
I suppose.
Nice view of the bridge.
Yeah, it ain't bad.
Joanna's cell phone rings. She looks at the caller ID expectantly and then appears disappointed as she answers.
Hi, Nancy. No, not yet. I don't know. Who? Seriously? Look, I know you're just trying to help, but right now is not a good time. Sure, he's a nice guy, but this is not the time. He's not my type anyhow. I didn't ask you to. You just did it on your own. No, it's okay. I am sorry for snapping. I'll call you if I need a shoulder to cry in, okay? Bye.
She hangs up her phone.
Times like this, everyone thinks they know what's right for you, you know? If I want their help, I'll ask. All we do is hit one tough patch and everyone thinks it's all over between us.
Mark is about to speak, but Joanna continues talking.
And I don't need my friends trying to set me up with this guy or that guy like it's high school. I'm a grown-up. I can take care of myself.
Mark is about to speak again, and then Joanna looks right at him.
Can I tell you something? This has been the worst night of my life.
Yeah. It's terrible being stood up.
Stood up. No, that's when two people are about to go out on their first date and one of them doesn't show up. I wasn't stood up. This is different.
Oh, boyfriend problems.
I'm not the one with the problem. We agreed to meet here to talk things over and I'm here. He's the one not showing up.
I'm sorry. I was unaware of the history.
It's okay. You didn't know.
I'm sure there's an explanation for why he didn't show up. God forbid, but maybe it was an emergency.
I hope not. But if it was, I would have heard something by now. Not knowing is the worst.
I'm sure he'll call.
I hope so.
Notices Mark for the very first time.
Have we met?
Not formally. I'm Mark.
Hi, Mark. I'm Joanna. Anyways, Mark, I appreciate you patiently listening to me gush away about my problems, but I shouldn't be burdening you with all this. I'm sure I look like a total wreck right now.
No, not at all.
You are way too kind. I'm usually not this way. It's the alcohol. I never drink this much and it makes me chatty. I should just go home and call it a night. Nice meeting you, Mark.
Nice meeting you too, Joanna.
Joanna goes to the door, then stops and turns back toward Mark.
You know, this isn't like him. He said he'd be at the party and we would go in and talk things over and hash everything out. I was expecting him. I'm even wearing my best dress. Instead, I'm here all by myself and everyone keeps asking how we're doing. I have never felt so lonely.
Joanna leans on the bar and starts sobbing. Mark is perplexed, then looks around, finds a half-full bottle, and pours a drink. After a moment or two, Joanna stops crying and recomposes herself. Mark tilts the bottle over another glass.
Here for another?
No, thanks. I've had enough.
Sounds like you could use another.
I guess one more ain't gonna hurt at this point, right?
You're just having an unusually bad night. We've all been there.
Yeah, I suppose it's my turn to be miserable. And in an anniversary party.
So, how long have you known Susan and Jay?
I've known Susie since college. I was at the party where she first met Jay. There was love at first sight.
I know Jay from work. Good guy.
He is. Susie's sure lucky to have him. Thanks for the drink.
You're welcome. Yeah, they do make a nice couple.
So how do you know if you found the right person or not?
Good question. Probably just luck.
Well, I think it's about time luck started going my way.
Oh, it always comes around.
I'm a good person. I deserve it.
Of course. You know, it looked like you were with someone.
Oh my God, him? Seriously.
Oh, you weren't with him?
No, that was my friend Nancy, her idea. Soon as she hears Anthony and I are having some issues, she tries to fix me up with some random guy she met at a rave. All he talked about was the Niners and then chemtrails. Oh, total bore.
So he didn't wow you?
No, he didn't wow me. That's just Nancy for you. She means well, but very impulsive. Things could still work out.
I thought you didn't like that guy.
No, I mean with Anthony.
Oh, of course. My bad. Maybe I've had too much to drink.
Anthony is the one I'm agonizing over, not Nancy's loser friend.
You know, he's probably agonizing over this too. Your boyfriend, that is.
If only I knew. Lately, his mind seems to be somewhere else. I mean, I just wish he'd open up. Oh, listen to me. I shouldn't be bothering you with all this.
Hey, that's what bartenders are for.
Oh, is that what you do?
Used to. Tip money helped pay for college. I liked it, but after college, it was time to get a day job.
I haven't spent much time in bars, I have to admit. I normally don't drink this much, but it's been one of those nights.
You have my sympathies.
Thanks.
So what did you think of the rest of the party?
You know, I was so preoccupied, but I didn't really notice.
It was pretty lively out here on the porch. Of course, this is where the keg was.
Yeah, it did sound pretty noisy out there.
Oh yeah. Everybody was talking and joking and laughing. And then these two guys just started singing out of nowhere. And everyone else joined in. Very happy drunks. Then a bottle of absinthe started getting passed around, and that stuff wasn't legal when I was bartending. Then at some point in all the fun, my ride left me. So here I am. Guess I can call a cab or an Uber.
Yes, everyone was having a good time except me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to make you feel bad.
It's okay. I am not envious. It's just that all I can think about right now is Anthony. I just can't get him out of my mind. Everything I see reminds me of him.
She looks off into the distance. Mark looks in the same direction.
That is quite a view of the Coit Tower.
We went there on one of our first dates.
Really?
Yes. We took the elevator all the way to the top. Then we looked out across the sky and the bay, just the two of us.
That's very romantic.
I'll remember it forever.
Too bad those perfect moments can't last forever.
But they sure are magical when they happen.
So, how did you two meet?
One of those lucky accidents. My friend Angie and I were looking for this place over at Market and Church to see his show. We were a bit lost, so we decided to ask someone for directions. And that's how we met.
And he just happened to be the first person you asked?
Anthony was with a friend walking down the sidewalk towards us. And as we passed by each other, we asked them for directions. Then we get to talking, and next thing you know, the four of us are all hanging out together. Angie and I totally forgot about the show. What a night. I mean, we all went up to North Beach and made a night of it, like a double date. Everything just clicked. The kind of night you hope would never end. Anthony was so funny and charming. I thought he was the coolest guy I ever met. I didn't think a guy like him could ever go for a girl like me. When it was finally time to go home, he asked me if he could take me out for dinner sometime. Of course, I said yes. What if Angie and I had asked someone else for directions? How different life would have been.
Sometimes that's how it happens when you least expect it.
It sure did for us.
That moment and at that place, the timing was just right. Maybe if you met before or after that time and place, it never would have happened.
Before, maybe, but not after. Like I said, this ain't over.
But how you two met is quite a story. And no matter what happens from here on out, nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah, I just hope the story has a happy ending.
I'm sure you've done all you can do. And that's all anyone can do.
So now it's up to fate.
As long as he wants to work it out with you, everything should be just fine.
Yeah. We've been together for almost 5 years now. And he hasn't even hinted at it.
What? Sorry, I'm not following.
Popping the question.
Oh, of course.
What did you think I mean?
No, that makes perfect sense. I just should have thought of that. The big M. Very special.
It's only what I've dreamed of.
How did you picture it? Down on one knee, somewhere romantic, bearing a ring?
Yes. Just wish I was appreciated for my sense of the romantic.
I know we've just met, but I'm sure you're plenty appreciated, at least by your friends.
Most of them are married now. Some are starting families. They sympathize for me, but I don't think they really know what I'm going through. It seems like all their lives are more together than mine.
It may seem that way, but they could just be putting up a front.
If they are, they're doing a very good job of it.
You know what I think? Marriage is overrated. If it's so great, why do so many couples end up divorcing?
Well, at least they took a stab at it.
I think that's just peer pressure.
Don't you believe in matrimony?
Sure, if that's what two people really want. I just don't think people should be marrying because they think they have to, whether they want to or not. Being single isn't the worst thing. We bachelors don't deserve to be stigmatized.
Well, I don't think you should be stigmatized. I'm sure you're a good guy, but you have to admit, being single is easier for a man than for a woman.
It's not all fun and games.
But a single man is basically respected. He even gets to be called a confirmed bachelor when he gets older. But older single women are called spinsters and old maids, not very respectable terms.
Yeah, that doesn't seem fair.
And you can decide to have kids when you're older if you want. You can even have kids in your 60s.
I'm sure things will get better for you before you're 60.
Oh, lucky me.
And yeah, I could have kids in my 60s, but I don't want to be an old dad. I'll be too weak to discipline them.
What's your idea of discipline? Brute force?
No, not at all. I'm a peaceable guy. I just meant that I'd give them guidance they need to keep them out of trouble. That way they'll grow up to be responsible adults with steady day jobs and stay out of jail. The great American dream.
Well, now you've mentioned my other problem.
What? Jail?
No, my job.
Oh, what a relief. Guess I was confused.
Apparently. You see, on top of all of my issues with Anthony, I am losing my mind because of a new position that management foisted upon me.
So a work problem?
Yeah, as well as a mental health one.
That does sound like your job gave you a promotion.
Not quite. More like I'm taking over all the responsibilities of people who've been laid off and working extra hours, but without the extra pay because I'm salaried. It's starting to feel like jail.
I hope they gave you a raise at least.
They promised a bonus and some possible future stock options, but we'll see if that happens. Frankly, I'd rather have the time.
Are they in financial trouble?
Actually, we're doing pretty well, but I guess it isn't good enough because they're still cutting corners.
Anything to squeeze out more profit. So what do you do there?
I used to work as sales support where I was perfectly happy. Now they want me to go on the road and make all these presentations and meet with all these people. I'm not used to that. I just like to come in and do my job without too much excitement. Now I'm going to have to be some kind of social butterfly, which is not my strong suit.
And you couldn't say no?
If I did, the job would have went to someone else, and then I'd look like someone who wasn't a team player and therefore expendable.
Well, who knows? You might end up liking it. It's certainly worth a shot.
I don't know. Maybe you can't tell right now, but I'm basically a shy person. This new position is a real big leap for me.
Not in your comfort zone?
Nowhere near it.
There's a cure for that.
What, this?
Well, that's one way. But what I was going to say is that the key to breaking the ice with people you don't know is to ask them about themselves. Because people always love to talk about themselves. That'll get the conversation rolling.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Also works at parties where you don't know anybody.
I'll have to try that.
There you go.
Sounds like you work in sales.
I do. Among other things.
Oh,
My original plan was to work in the corporate world, make a lot of money, and retire when I'm young enough to enjoy it. But after a couple of job changes, I ended up at a small company where I have to do a little bit of everything. It pays the bills.
is that your long-term plan?
It is until my next long-term plan.
I see.
Actually, there is something I would like to do.
And what's that?
Open up a sports bar and restaurant.
That's a big enterprise.
Believe me, I know. I used to work with the restaurant business. In addition to bartending, I've also been a server. I bussed tables, even spent some time in the kitchen. I left it all after college, but after, I've been thinking about getting back into it. I don't know. I missed the rush. and the people, and I still have connections in the business. I could do it.
If that's what you really want, you should go for it.
Yeah, I should. I'll need a business partner, of course, but I can do all the heavy lifting. It'll be a lot of work, but I'm up to it. Then it'll be time to get settled.
And you'll live happily ever after.
I don't know if it'll be a fairy tale, but it'll feel like an achievement.
Must be nice to still have a sense of hope.
Hey, don't give up hope. You said yourself things can still work out.
I did. I guess I'm just having a pity party.
At least you're making a party out of it.
You're funny.
Seriously, I know what you're going through. I've had heartbreak in my life.
Like your friend leaving you at the party tonight.
Now, he's just a flake. What I mean is that I know what it's like to have the one that got away.
Recently?
Well, back in high school, we grew up together, you see, and she was one of those girls you don't notice at first, but she became more beautiful as she matured, really blossomed. During junior year, I finally asked her out. She said no at first, but I was persistent. Senior year, she finally said yes, and it was great in the beginning. Anyways, prom was coming up, and we're making our plans to go. And at the last minute, she dumps me.
That's terrible. Was there another guy?
She did dump me for someone else, but it wasn't a guy.
Oh, that must have been a surprise.
I'll say.
Hmm. So, how did you find out?
She was trying to let me off easy, saying how we didn't have enough in common. I told her that we shouldn't let our differences get in the way of a relationship. Then she says, Mark, it's how we're alike that's going to prevent us from having a relationship. Guess I didn't see the signs.
Guess not.
Point is, we all suffer heartbreak, and it all hurts. When it happens, it feels like the end of the world. But in time, we recover, and so will you.
We've spent almost 5 years together. It's going to take a lot of time to recover from that.
Maybe things just ran their course. And if I may ask, how do you know he's the right guy for you anyway?
If you ever met him, you'd understand. He's my Heathcliff, my Cyrano.
Care for a refill?
Just a little.
That's right. It's the weekend.
At least you're enjoying it.
Well, I don't know who those two guys are, but I'm a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. Maybe some of it will rub off onto you too.
I'd settle for lucky.
Don't settle for anything. Know what you want and go for it. If all you're trying to do is get half a loaf, you might just end up with nothing.
But that's not my way. I don't want to look too desperate. I believe people need to meet each other halfway and then come together.
At least you're doing your part.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you have other things going on in your life.
My friends say I need a hobby, but I've been so busy lately.
And what's wrong with the world? That's what's wrong with the world. Not enough time to enjoy life. Was there anything you used to do when you had more spare time?
When I was younger, I used to play the piano.
Really? That's impressive. Were you good?
My mother thought I was.
Ah, I see.
I wasn't bad. I played in some talent shows, even a few small recitals.
Nice. But you don't play anymore?
No, I don't have a piano at my place. I don't have much time for it anyway.
Ever miss it?
Yeah, sometimes. But you know how it is. Some things in your life just get left behind.
Maybe you can get back into it.
I've thought about it, but you really have to give a lot of your time if you want to be a good player. And that's a lot easier to do when you're a kid and you don't have to worry about the rent or a job or boyfriends who leave you hanging. I wouldn't know where to fit a piano into my apartment anyway.
You get a synthesizer. They don't take up a lot of room.
I suppose.
Not really into it anymore?
It's just that my parents married young and started raising a family, so they had to sacrifice whatever dreams they may have had. I think my mom pushed me into doing things because she was trying to live through me. Now that I'm on my own, no one is pushing me anymore.
Yeah. A lot of parents are like that.
Or yours.
Well, my parents spent more time telling me what not to do. Don't forget to do your homework. Don't get into trouble. Don't stay out too late. Don't do drugs. Don't be a screw up. Don't wail on your little brother. Maybe I wasn't forced into learning an instrument, but I had my share of parental oppression. I can relate.
Like peas in a pod.
You know, I gave music a try.
Oh, which instrument?
Guitar. I took some lessons from this friend of mine.
You felt inspired?
I just thought it was cool to do, this at parties, but no one really pushed me into it. Like with you.
But you went for it. That takes initiative.
Yeah, but I didn't commit to it.
Yes, commitment. Very important. I'm having my own issues with that.
I'm sorry, I should have worded that differently.
It's okay. You didn't mean any harm. I'm committed. I just wish the commitment was going in both directions.
You can only control your end.
Yeah. Anthony and I did used to go out more often and do other things. Now I'm content to stay home most nights. Maybe he's getting bored with me.
I know we just met, but you don't seem boring at all.
Thanks. But unfortunately, I don't think my boyfriend shares your opinion.
Boring is a state of mind. Doesn't matter if you're quietly sitting at home or having a night out of the town. An interesting person will always be interesting, no matter what they're doing.
And here I am at a party, making the effort to be sociable like he wants me to do. And yet he decided not to show up.
You know what I think? And I'm no expert on the Bible, but I do believe in the saying that desire leads to suffering. And since relationships begin with desire, that means pain and suffering are inevitable in any kind of relationship.
I don't think that's in the Bible.
It isn't?
I mean, I grew up going to Sunday school and I don't ever remember hearing that.
Really?
Actually, I'm pretty sure that's a Buddhist saying.
See, I can't even sound profound when I want.
But I see your point. I probably have been beating myself up too much over this.
Like you said, it's not knowing that's the worst.
And that's where I'm at now.
It may feel like the end of the world now, but one day this ordeal will pass. Things always have a way of reaching a conclusion.
Did you ever reach a conclusion with your high school girlfriend?
More like it came to a screeching halt. I'm sure she's forgotten all about me anyhow.
You think so?
I don't see why she'd remember me. It was just a wrong turn in her life.
Maybe you made a bigger impact on her life than you imagined.
Not as far as I could tell. Though, I suppose I made a mark on her.
She might remember your sense of humor.
Well, she did enjoy laughing at me.
And she remembers you for sure.
Yeah, could be. But you know what? I don't dwell on the past. Better to live in the present. And you know why? Because you can't go home again.
Another pearl of wisdom.
I suppose that isn't in the good book either.
All this worrying about the present is causing me to dread the future. But the future is unwritten. I need to remind myself of that sometimes. Oh, look at the time. I really should be going. Thanks for listening to me vent.
Least I could do. Problems don't seem so bad once you get them off your chest.
Yeah, maybe I'll feel a little bit better tomorrow.
There's going to be some bands playing in Golden Gate Park tomorrow. supposed to be nice weather this weekend. Might be worth seeing. I was going to check it out with some friends of mine.
I don't know. I probably won't be in much of a mood to do anything.
Should be a bright, sunny day tomorrow. Music might be a thing to cheer you up.
Sounds nice, but I have a lot on my mind right now.
Okay.
Where's this show in the park going to be at?
At the band's shell. It'll be going on all day.
Well, if I'm in a better mood tomorrow and I'm not too hungover, I mean, I might come by and check it out.
Sounds good.
Thanks for the drink.
My pleasure.
And thanks for listening. It's been nice meeting you, Mark.
Nice meeting you too, Joanna.
Good night.
Good night.
Joanna exits out the door as Mark remains behind the bar. End of the scene. Blackout.
Thanks for listening. Join us next week on Airplay.